Greetings, everyone. Welcome to The Infected. My name is Vorm. I am here to start a new run. If you're watching on Twitch, yes, yesterday I did a pretty long stream on The Infected. That was kind of my getting reacquainted stream. Now that I know the interface again and have a bit of an idea of what to do in the first few days, after my 2-year hiatus since I last played, I decided I wanted to start fresh so I could do a more educated video from the start. Then this one I'll send over to the fine folks that like to watch my content on YouTube. So I won't be struggling and futzing around with the interface quite so much this time. So, if you're new to the game, The Infected is kind of one of those smaller project, zombie apocalypse, crafting survival games. I have played it before, as mentioned. A couple years back is the last time I played it to any extensive degree. I do enjoy this one quite a bit. It's a little smaller in scope and scale than some of the games I play, but I'm fine with that. So, I hope you enjoy watching a playthrough of The Infected. Feel free to ask questions in chat. I know a pretty good amount about the early part of the game, and I know the basic structure, so I should be able to answer most general questions about the gameplay. All right, first thing we got to do is kill my previous games. We're going to go ahead and delete both of these. Clear that out. And then we're going to go new game. A bunch of different choices here of note that I wasn't sure of how I had it set yesterday. Loot respawn. Respawns every 10 game days. So it's enabled by default. We're going to leave it that way. So if we go loot out a POI selection of buildings, they will respawn 10 days. So that I wasn't sure of. I couldn't remember if it was 1 week or what the number was. And the answer is 10. We're going to leave all of that alone. I am a filthy American, so we're going to go with that silly Fahrenheit system. Sure. Go ahead and autosave if you'd like. Head bob. We'll leave it on for the moment. I might turn that off actually, though. We'll see. Rebuild, no. Technologies, yes. God mode, no. AI settings. We're going to leave all this the same as well. I remember changing some of these previously. I think I upped the number of AI, I think in the base attack settings. Actually, I remember having issues with the progression of the numbers. They were weirdly progressed. Big jumps and things like that. I can't remember my specific issue, but I remember wishing I could change some of these in a more granular fashion, not pick from preset numbers that were kind of silly. But I don't remember which numbers I was having issue with, so we'll leave it all alone for now. But yeah, you can change a bunch of things in here to make the gameplay however you would like, and we're not going to touch the wildlife stuff. That can all stay as well. Okay, so we are set, and this time I will remember that I have this set for base attack starting on day 5, and then apparently every 2 days thereafter. So that caught me by surprise a bit as well. I thought it was going to be day 5, day 10, day 15. No, starts on day 5, and then every couple of days after that. Let's leave it on the standard settings. I don't want to change any of that stuff. All right, let's go ahead and do V1, start game. We'll see where it puts me. So it's a fixed map. It has some randomization in regards to what loot you might find at particular POIs and locations, but the map itself is fixed. No random world gen or anything fancy like that. Okay, big open plains spot. I don't think... No, this doesn't look like... Especially with that cliff. Definitely not where we set up earlier. We are north again. All right. Desert, the town. I want to be here. I'd like to set up in the same place I did yesterday, just for continuity. That's a bit of a run. Let's do the respawn option a couple of times. See if we can get a little closer for our start. It's pretty boring to watch me run over there. There's really not much in the way of... yeah, that one's not too... I mean, I'm not sure I'm that much closer. I'd have to walk my way out of the pocket and around that corner and then over there. Let's see if we can get a slightly closer one. Well, this is the old start position. I remember this place. That's interesting. We're way down south. Yeah, way down south. This used to be the standard starting position years ago when I played extensively. We don't want to be there for this part of the run, though. They've changed kind of how things work. Come on now. Put me kind of Midwest. Back up north. I'm not sure how many different spawn points there are. It feels like they're set. That'll work. We can just run straight down the road and get to there. Alright, so, yep, that away. I'll pick up a few materials as we run. We want to get off the road, so I will mention... Let me mention a couple things about the interface for the folks that didn't watch yesterday or haven't seen the game before. It is a gather, craft, survive game. We will be building a base. That's a big part of the gameplay, and a big chunk of the content is building up your base. There are particular locations that are better than others. It's a set map. The city and building locations are set. The roads, everything, all of that is preset. There are also caves at specific locations on the map, and they show with little X's. And you want to make sure you set your base up near at least a cave. And there are a couple of different kinds of caves. It changes what's in them, what materials you can get. But just be aware that that's all a thing. I'm going to go to a specific spot to set up my base. And for folks that did watch yesterday, it'll be the same location. We're going to go about things a little differently now that I have been refamiliarized with the progression. And I'm debating if I want to put some permadeath on this run. I'm still somewhat ignorant about the progression beyond the first few days, so I'm a little leery of doing it. But I'm going to tentatively say it's going to be a 3-death Iron Man run. So we're going to have to be very careful, especially early before we have better weapons and shield in particular. So... yeah, let's do that. I might change my mind depending on what kind of deaths I encounter. But let's tentatively put a 3 life limit on this one. But in the interface on the right-hand side, it's kind of blurred out while I'm in the options menu here. But you've got your health, you've got your stamina. And the stamina is capped at 50, which is actually half of the bar. And that's because of my stats down here. Your nutrition, and in particular your water. When it drops below a certain point, it massively cuts your stamina. So as soon as I take a drink and get some food in me, this bar is going to jump out to 100 max, and we'll be able to run further. The stamina goes by pretty quick. You're going to find yourself sprinting, walking, sprinting, walking, sprinting, walking. To be able to travel quickly. We have our hydration. This is our general hunger bar, which just about anything you put in your belly will fill. But then there's also these stats, which are like protein, fats, carbohydrates, things like that. There's an energy bar. This is kind of like your general fatigue. And as it gets lower and lower, it's going to basically start yawning, and you'll need to get some sleep to recover it. Basically, you just click on a bed, and the time goes by, and you'll see the bar increasing, and your health goes up a little bit while you sleep, and you just click to exit whenever you want to get up. And then finally at the bottom, that one is, I can't remember now. Oh, yeah, that's the one I actually wanted to talk about. That's the intent I brought this up. This is your sun exposure. So you got to be very careful about how much time you spend out in the sun until you get some proper gear and some medical type items. If this gets low and hits 0, you'll get a sunburn, which will negatively impact you pretty hard. So be very careful of this. You'll see me, I'm getting off the road and into the cover because the shade here is going to keep the sun from impacting me all that much. You don't have to worry about it late in the evening or early in the morning when the sun's very low, but when the sun's up, be very cautious about your sun exposure until you can get some compensating stuff. So that's pretty much all you need to know right now. You'll see me grabbing a few items as we run. I need to put together a few basic tools, and then we'll get working when we get down to our base. I'm also on the lookout for food items, so I'll kind of be scanning as we run through the forest here. It will highlight items on the ground like sticks and stones that I can pick up when I get within a certain radius. So, hello frog. Yep, ribbit. I could really use another stick or two. I only need, what do we got? So yeah, I don't have a single stick yet. Where are you hiding all the sticks, game? Oh, there we go. Oh, and I ran out of stamina already. That's what I mean by you got to be careful with your stamina. You got to pulse the run, walk, run, walk. Oh, there's another stick. I think I need 3 stones total. Keep running until we get one more. Oh, there's one. Hello, Mr. Goaty. Okay, so I have changed the hotkeys so that tab opens my inventory. Just went into options, keys, and I don't know why they're not using tab in this game for inventory. They have it on I think, to open inventory typically, which, you know, makes sense, but that's old school stuff. Anybody with any game with WASD controls that isn't using tab for an important game function is crazy. They're crazy. They're silly. So I rebound open inventory to my tab key. So that brings this screen up, shows my backpack. It is limited by these slots. You can see kind of how much space is being taken up by certain items. And then you have a crafting screen where you just kind of have this little wooden plaque that you put things on to hammer them together. So I can either move items onto that in a particular order, and it says that's not a valid recipe. Why are you not a valid recipe? I put those in the right order. Whatever, game. All right, so we have an axe crafted. It doesn't go into your backpack here. It actually goes into this, and there's 4 slots to hold weapons and tools. So we've got our axe in 1, and this is going to be hotkey 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I press my 1 key, it brings the axe out. Then I need to do stone blade, and then it's easier to do this. This itempedia, you bring it up. You have tabs over here for what kind of items. This is on the first section. You can just click on something, and if you have the materials, it'll automatically open the building menu with the items in the proper positions. So I need some plant fiber. So we're just going to chop a small tree down real quick to get some plant fiber. Logs drop. I can either pick them up and they'll go onto my shoulder because they're big and heavy. It'll put the axe away and put them on my shoulder. Or I can right click and say harvest, and it breaks them into sticks and firewood. I just need a few sticks to run around with. I don't need the rest of that. Go away, firewood. And I don't need bark chips right now. I'll get rid of them as well. But we got some plant fibers right there. So now when we open the itempedia and we go to stone pickaxe, it puts them in the right order. Craft. And now I have a pickaxe to go along with this. And with the pickaxe, we can break stones apart. And usually these rocks will break into about 16 smaller stones. Like so. They are independent in my inventory. I'm just going to grab enough. I guess that doesn't hurt. I can throw them away later. Alright, that's good enough. Let's keep moving. No, now all the sticks are showing up. Don't need them now. I can get sticks by chopping a small tree down really fast, so I don't really have to worry about what's on the ground anymore. Alright, stamina. I know. So, starting inventory. Let's talk about starting inventory real quick. So, in that bag, you have a lighter. You're going to use that. It's infinite uses. You use it to light fires in the campfire, in your furnaces and forges, things like that. We got some standard bandages. That's for bleed wounds. And then we have medicated bandage, which is for infected wounds specifically. And then there's med kits that you can find as loot or make. And that's all we started with, those 3 items. But over here, we have a separate pack for our food items. So we've got a flask currently holding 60 units of clean water. And we have 5 beef stews that provide health, thirst, carbs, protein, fat, and vitamins and energy. So you can actually stay up longer working if you're eating this kind of item. Now, this is a really high-end food item. You want to try to preserve these if you can, but you're probably going to find yourself using them in the first few days while you kind of get set up. And that's all you start with. But if I ate that right now, all of our stats would jump up over here on this side. They'd all jump forward, including our hydration, and we'd actually have more stamina. But we're going to make do with what we got. All right, we just got to keep running. I'm going to ignore the big city over here. We're just going to keep running until we see this huge clearing, and then we'll kind of work our way over into it. All right, sun exposure, we're back up to 100 and 100. I should probably make a spear. Let's make a spear real quick. So, I believe the spear needs the stone blade, and then Stone spear. Nope. I need more plant fiber. Is there a bush? Yeah, you can harvest these bushes. Oh wait, I think this just gives sticks. Oh nope, that gives fiber also. All right, we're up to 13. Craft. And that goes into the same position as the tools. So we've got 3 of our 4 complete now. I think I'm going to grab one more spear while I'm at it. I have enough. These are going to lose durability fairly quickly. Alright, let's keep moving. So that heads into the city. We're going to ignore that. We'll come visit that another time. So we're going to angle off to the right here. We should have our clearing up ahead of us. Not too far ahead. Different class of trees over here. We'll be taking advantage of that. Some wildlife. Oops. Let's pause for breath. So if you're hunting things like the deer, you want to learn how to throw the spears accurately. Because if you can throw and hit them with a spear and then just follow them, they'll eventually bleed out and then you can harvest them. But we're going to ignore that for the moment. That should be our clearing just over the rise, that direction. Ooh, we got a pumpkin. Let's harvest a pumpkin. So instead of picking this up, which I can do, and it picks it up just like a, a big old thing in both hands, I'm going to right-click to drop it, right-click on it, and then say harvest. And that puts it, it slices it and puts it in our food inventory. And it provides a pretty good source of water, carbs, fat, vitamins, and a bit of energy. So let's go ahead and eat these right now. And you'll notice these bars are going up when I eat. And we'll keep moving. Number of different food items in the game. We're going to be grabbing up all that we see around this big flat area where we're going to set up as a base. So I'm watching that purple bar on the right. You notice while I'm walking, it actually goes up pretty quickly. When you're sprinting, it drops. When you stop sprinting, it pauses for 3 or 4 seconds, and then it'll start going back up again. So you just got to kind of learn the pattern for sprinting and pausing and sprinting and pausing. Okay, things look a little different for some reason. Yeah, this is the same spot. So the reason I'm picking this spot, I can't pause while I have this open. I like this spot because it's the center of the map. We got the big city nearby. We've got about 8 buildings or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's 10 or 11 buildings right here for us to loot. There's about half a dozen at the end of this road. So we've got some nearby loot. We've got 2 caves nearby. We've got the river nearby. And again, it's very centrally located, so we can go in any particular direction to get somewhere on the map. If you base up here, for example, anywhere you want to go is going to be a long, long trip. So I prefer more centralized locations. There's a lot of really cool places you can set bases up, though. There's like dead-end canyons you can set up that minimizes your security footprint that you have to defend. There's all sorts of cool locations. Traveling the map and kind of finding places to build bases on the next run is one of the interesting parts of the gameplay. From earlier, hey, thanks, Lightside. Appreciate the tip. Interest accrued from CDDA guide. What is this CDDA that you speak of? Is that some fancy new Battlefield game that the kids are playing nowadays? Madden, FIFA? All right, so, yeah. It feels like the arrangement of the trees is different or something. I think I set up more around here. So we'll knock out these rocks and chop these trees down, and we'll start building stuff. So, anything else I want to talk about before we really get started here? I don't think so. My hydration's getting low, so you do have to clean the water that you're going to drink. We're going to set up as quickly as possible some water basins, some tubs, so that when it rains, they fill up, and we'll have a local water source, so I don't have to run down to the river to refill my water bottle. It rains fairly often, and they're usually fairly short rains. Sometimes there's storms with thunder and lightning and all that good stuff, so, you know, good times. But what we're going to be doing here is getting our initial base started. I'm going to lay some foundations. We're going to set up some wood cutting benches initially, get some forges up as quickly as possible to process stone, which gets us little fragments of iron, which will be our initial source of metal. There is a particular progression system you have to go through in the game. One thing I'm not too fond of is it's a little difficult to understand what requires what. It's not really very well communicated or organized in the progression system. And what I mean by that is it uses a technology page system, which is it's an item that you have to go loot in the various structures and towns and buildings around the map. There's a whole bunch of different locations. And they seed, I think, between 0 and 2 of these tech pages. It's literally just a piece of white paper that you'll see on a table or a counter or a desk as you go searching buildings. There's only going to be a couple at most per location, so you're incentivized to travel the map, explore, loot, to get these tech pages. Well, when you pick one up, it pops open this big window of all the different technologies you can unlock. And the problem I have is it doesn't do any it doesn't make any effort to tell you that if you pick a particular technology, let's say it says the stone forge or some other tech, whatever, the oil well tech, you pick the oil well tech and then you're allowed to build an oil well because of that tech unlock. But what it doesn't tell you is that to do so, you needed 4 particular other techs that you should have taken first, because they're going to provide you the resources to build that well. So I don't think it does a particularly good job of communicating that kind of structure. So you got to be pretty careful early game to keep your tech stuff, your tech choices within certain bounds that you know you're going to be able to get the resources for it. Because it's really discouraging to go, oh, cool, I got a tech page. I'm going to pick this tech and I'm going to go build that thing. And then you go to try to build the thing and you find out you need these 3 other things that require other tech pages. And you're a million miles away from actually making use of that tech page you picked. You would have been much better served picking one of the other techs that leads up to it. So, I wish that was a little more transparent, a little easier to parse. So I'm going to be still, yesterday's stream, I learned a few things, but there's still a lot of that tech progression stuff that I don't have down pat yet. So we'll probably stumble a bit in picking a few of those. But it'll be a bit before we get to that. I need to spend a day or two in game just doing this home-based stuff. So let's get to it. All right, we're going to start chopping some trees down, breaking some rocks. Items do persist for a while on the ground. I'm still a little fuzzy on just how long. Sometimes some of my materials seem to disappear fairly quick. Other times they stuck around for a while. So, we'll find out. Let's have a drink of our water. We're getting pretty dehydrated. And that's going to drink the entire thing. It's a 1-to-1, so if it says 60 units and, you were 40 or less, I was at 20, so it jumped me up to 80. So we're going to need to get some water in the not-too-distant future. Okay, let's... I don't want to break rocks yet. Let's do this. So let's go to the build menu, placeables, and the saw bench. I'm just going to slap a few of these down. So luckily, you can move furniture in this game extremely easily. So you set down little blueprint ghost images, and then you fill them with the materials needed. So these need 4 logs each. So we can carry 3. So I'm just pressing E to pick them up, and E to drop them off. That is now going to automatically turn that into planks. Once we get our sawmills up, we will go, our table saws up, we'll feed them logs to get planks, and the combo of logs and planks are what we need for the next stage. Different size tree trunks give different amounts of logs. The little tiny ones give 3. There's kind of 3 sizes. There's like small, medium, and large trees. The one I just took down was a medium. All right, next up, more chopping. If you look in the very bottom right corner of the screen, it shows my stone axe being used, and it has a little white circle. That is the durability on the stone axe. So it is going to disappear. I'm just going to feed a bunch of these into this. Build up a nice supply. I still find it odd, and I'll probably comment on it multiple times, that lumberjacking and mining ore doesn't use any kind of stamina. But if I run 5 feet, I'm burning stamina. A little purple bar. But, you know, I can swing an axe all day long, and I can head down into the mines for a sweaty 12-hour trip of breaking rocks and not burn a single ounce of stamina. Still weirds me out. Okay. Let's break a few of these. Oops, I went over weight. So we're picking up, we're 50.05 out of 50, and the instant you go any amount over your max, you slow down. I'm trying to sprint right now. This is my speed. If I drop that stick I picked up, I can run like normal. So, you know, be careful of that. But hilariously, logs on your shoulder don't weigh you down at all. It's weird. There's a lot of weird things. Alright. Let's get... Do I set some foundations up? Yeah, let's get at least the starter foundations up. Alright, so we're going to go back to the build menu. This time we're going to say wooden foundations. You can press X and raise and lower them to whatever level you would like. Let's go, we got really flat ground here, so I don't need that much height. We'll go like right. I'm not sure what height I can just step up on versus having to hop. Actually, that's an important consideration, given how flat the ground is here. Let's go pretty low to the ground. Let's see if I can walk on that. Cancel that. So we need 4 logs and 6 planks. Oops. So 4 logs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, I can't carry that many. I really need to get rid of all these rocks. I want to get a foundation down so I can get some forges going. 5 out of 6. Ah, really? Alright, so there's our first foundation down. Task complete. Oh, there is a journal that walks you through things. The J key opens this journal. It's going to walk you through the early steps of things to do. I'm kind of just checking them off as I'm running around doing stuff already. Nope, can't walk up on that automatically either, so it still requires me to hop. Alright, well, that's good to know. Let's, it's going to look a little weird for me to put a ramp on something that small. That's fine. It's fine. Alright, let's, bring up the build menu again. So, yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Alright, let's do a 3x3 initially, and then I'll expand it out to a 5x5. This goes directly into my inventory, which is going to slow me down. I don't have a box yet. Let's do... Build placeable storage wooden container. Wherever. Alright, so 8 planks needed for that, which is gonna come out of my inventory. I gotta get rid of these rocks temporarily. Taking up too much weight. I'll get a forge going here pretty quick, and we'll get rid of all these rocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And go ahead and pick those back up. Into the box with you. So I can shift, right click. I can click and say move all, and it'll move all of that type over, which is handy. So we'll just get rid of all the random stuff for the moment and keep getting these things filled in. All my trees are down. Let's get some more planks. One log short, and then we're planks short. Okay. Right distance. Gotta be careful my sun exposure. I'm eliminating all the shade out here until I get a roof up on my structure there. And in the shade while I chop other trees. One more log for that, and then we can switch to production of planks. Alright, now it's all about the planks. I am restarting from yesterday, yes. I wanted to do a more comprehensive and comprehensible start for the game so I could have something to send over to my YouTube viewers that didn't have me struggling to remember how to use the interface and things like that. So I decided this morning before I went live to do a restart. We'll catch up to where we were yesterday pretty quickly, now that I've gotten the interface figured out, and I know the basic early game progression. Okay, let's take down this medium tree. This will have... The big ones have, I think, 11. This has 7? I forget, 7 or 8. We're going to bust our first axe after... a few more after this one. I've played this game tons in the past. I'm well aware of base locations. I've probably done 10 bases on this game. All sorts of bases in all sorts of places. I'm aware. This is much simpler and easier for me to demonstrate a base build with. But I talked earlier about how there's a lot of cool base locations on the map and why you might want to use them. Three more. I know, I know. Oh, we got a piggy. Oh, short 2 logs. Oh yeah, you can't jump while you've got logs on your shoulder. Alright. Let's grab those. I need to decide where my back wall is going to be. See, didn't I just have some logs right? Oh, they're there. Alright, that's the rest of them. Come here, stick. And other stick. Okay. Let's deposit some more of this stuff. So here's what I mean by, I like this game a lot for this one feature. You point, you press N, and you can move it wherever you want. And all the contents go with it. No muss, no fuss. Doesn't waste your time with unnecessary fiddly nonsense. Alright, we are going to extend this out even further, this platform, but this gets me enough initially. I need to get a couple more boxes down. Placeable storage boxes. Put one on top of this one. I gotta put more weight on the rest of those. Alright, it's just planks, so we need to chop more trees. Let's go get the big tree. Whoops, I have a problem I need to address. Actually, I'm going to end up eating one of the meals, which will alleviate the problem. I still do know... I do need to go get water. I need to get those basins up in case it rains. Alright, see if we can get through this before we break our axe. We've got 2 caves within a short run from here anyway. Got a cave just barely to our north and a cave right across the river. So it's close enough. Ah, we're starting to get the grumbly tumbly noises. Alright, stamina. Come on. Sun's getting low enough that we're not getting that much sun exposure now. Which is good. Yeah, we're going to eat a stew. I need to keep working as long as I can. I hear you, Mr. Piggy. I'm not quite ready for you. Things speed up quite a bit as we get a few important benchmark items produced as well. Alright, get you relocated now that it's not a ghost image. Right there. And what do we got? Yeah, I think it's 11 logs out of the big trees. Okay, let's get another couple things built. Build, placeables, others, campfire. Oh, here's the rain. I need those other things. Build placeable storage. Other. There we go. Alright, what do you need? Just planks? All I need is to get one of these up. I think am I one short? No, we got enough. Alright. Just in time. Now I don't have to run to the river. That'll save me a bit of time. Alright, we need 10 small stones and 8 firewood. So are my stones still here? I think my stones that I dropped have disappeared. I don't see that pile anymore. Alright, we'll just chop a rock real quick. Firewood you get by breaking down logs. You harvest a log on the ground. Alright, it's time for some stew. Jumped all of my bars back up, and we should be in much better shape now. Oh, that's right, I did put them in the chest. They'll get used up here pretty quick. I forgot I was all prepared this time and actually got the chests down pretty quick. So, I'm going to pick most of these up and process them. Then the last couple I'll turn into firewood, and we'll get that fire going. Not a big hurry now. Let's go get that pumpkin. Any other obvious fruit and veggies on the ground? It's the other benefit of how flat the ground is in this spot. It's somewhat easy to spot. The melons are still pretty hard to spot, but all the other stuff kind of sticks out. Oops. So, usually I just do a perimeter scan every once in a while to see what new stuff has appeared. That's a frog. We'll leave you alone for the moment, frog, but pretty soon you're going on the menu. Alright, so if we watch my bars over here, we're doing pretty good on carbs. This is mostly carbs, but we're going to eat it anyway. It has a spoil timer, so you'll notice kind of in the middle there, it has spoils in 1 hour, 59 minutes. You got to be careful. Some of this stuff spoils a lot faster, like the pumpkin slices are gone in 28 minutes. Alright, we'll hold off. As long as my stamina bar's up to 100, I'm happy. Let's finish grabbing this stuff. Alright, those last two will turn into firewood. Get our plank stockpile refreshed. Alright, so we just drop them, right-click, and harvest, and they explode into sticks and firewood. Two more. Alright, I'm going to need some more firewood. I also need to get some storage down. Let's go ahead and build menu, placeable storage. Give me first stick stand. I'm going to be moving this stuff because we're going to be expanding, but for the moment, let's just throw it down here, here. Then, plank stand. Firewood. Yeah, I'll end up moving a lot of this stuff. Alright, come here, sticks. I need you. plank stand done. Alright. In you go. Out of my inventory. I'll wait till I expand the platform to do log holders up here. Let's just throw some right in front of this for now. Oops, not that one. Alright, this axe is about to die. So, the items disappear when you blow out their durability. Three more sticks. I need a stick. Oh, already got the stone. Means you're getting a little farther away. Alright, we got most of the basic infrastructure up. I'll put one box over by the campfire to hold my food items. Maybe 2 boxes total. Then we will get the forges up. And we'll start processing stone so we can get our initial iron supply. Alright, finish getting that together. Just toss the logs in there. Okay, I need to get some walls and a ceiling up to protect the fire. I'm still going to put the forges over here, I think, like I did last time initially. Then I need to go out another 2 layers. I want a 5x5, so I'm going to have to get rid of that stone. Maybe that stone. They'll feed the forges, and we'll move stuff around like I mentioned. So, build placeables. Others, sword, forge. That'll do for now. Oh yeah, gotta finish getting that. 2 more planks for that. Okay, we got plenty of water storage, or water accumulation. I'll never go through that. It rains often enough that I'm doubtful I'll ever work my way through 2 tubs. So let's work on putting up walls. Alright, you're being kind of weird. Just that one wall there. And these 2 walls here. Okay, logs and planks again. Logs and planks, logs and planks. Let's go over here. Hoping to get all this up before I have to sleep. So in the morning, we can start working on food accumulation. You are done. So it's 3 per. Need to get some of the water cooking. Down to 2 hydration. So that little kind of skull symbol showing up down below, bottom left, indicates usually dehydration or a nutrition problem. So what we need to do is we need to activate that. We drag this onto this middle spot for the water, and it fills it with dirty water. And then we go to our campfire and we fill the bucket. And then we repeat the process. Because the bucket can hold up to 200 units, and we can only fill 60 at a time with our current gear. I'm just going to do an even multiple, just 180. Then we'll grab 4 or 5 firewood. And we'll set that around the campfire. And this fills in to show how much fuel you've got in there. Alright, we filled it up with firewood, and we take our lighter and light it up. And this is going to convert this dirty water into clean water, and it shows a little circling progress bar. So that won't take long. We'll have that ready to go. I can't move hardly at all while we're 0 hydration. Let's transfer what you can. No, if there's a beta branch, I'm not aware of it. Alright, now that it's clean water, we can grab the units out of there. Get ourselves nice and hydrated. Oops. Then grab another batch. And more hydration. And then you can douse the fire by just dropping 1 unit of water on it. So you don't use up all your firewood for no reason. Alright, we're rehydrated. We can get back to work. How many stones just laying around? Right there. So what's new on the beta branch that would entice me to play on the beta branch? Didn't they just release an update to the main build like 3 days ago? 2-3 days ago? I assumed because that was a brand new update that I would be playing whatever the current stuff is. Is there a beta build that adds stuff newer than that? Let's break some rocks. Get these forges going. That way I can kind of feed the forges while I'm chopping trees. Alright, settle down. Uh-oh. Chicken. Chicken alert. Where are you at, chicken? Way over there by the road. I got busy looking at other things and I lost. Hiding behind the stone? Yep. east. So, you can throw a lot farther than you might think. Just put the cursor, in my experience, just above your target, barely, and usually you'll get a pretty good hit. All right, let's put miscellaneous stuff over here. Load up the sticks. Put our seeds over here. We're getting kind of tired. We're not done breaking rocks. This is also clearing my local space so I can build the platform out further. All right, 11 more. One more rock will do. All right, now I don't have coal yet, so we're gonna have to feed firewood into these things to get them running. I don't have a rock crate yet, so we'll just use this for rock storage for now. I'll get them all running once I get that kind of filled up. Probably sleep pretty soon. Oh yeah, we're completely out of energy. Whoops. Too much. Oh, 71. Ouch. Yeah, I shouldn't try to do multiple. Alright, yeah, it's going to take forever if I try to waddle over there with this. Way too many rocks. So, minor items do respawn on the ground, like sticks and stones and stuff. The crops will respawn. I gotta keep an eye out for all that stuff. Alright. Move all. That'll keep our forges busy once we get moving on that. I need to get a bed down. I forgot to do the bed. Craft, placeables, furniture. Nope. Bedroom, bed. Yeah, over here's fine. 6 planks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you just approach, press E, and you see the time in the upper right starts to spin, and my energy bar is going up. So I'm going to wait for the energy bar to max out, then click wake up. There we go. Now I got to worry about the sun again. I haven't finished my walls, and I haven't gotten my roof on, so we'll do that here. Very next thing, I think, once I fire these up. All right, give me a bunch of this. Gonna be pretty much all of this. I wish it wasn't so particular about how this worked. It should know that this is a fuel item, and I should be able to just shift-click, alt-click, whatever, to automatically transfer it to this point, but it won't let me. Forces me to click and drag. I'm not a fan of that. Why are you not? Never mind. The me problem. Alright. Next up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stones. Each of these can do 2 at a time. You have these 2 nodes right there. And this you can just shift and right click to transfer. And then we drag and drop that there to fire it up. So 1, 2, and 1. 1, 2, and 1. And we're off and running. So each stone is going to turn into 1 fragment. And then you need 5 fragments. And you put that on there and it turns it into a bar. So we're just going to be running stone fragments for a while. Walls. Need to chop trees. So I'm going to work my way as quickly as possible to the cart and a few other things. The cart will speed this process up dramatically.